My gym refused to cancel my membership for 14 months, so I used their own unlimited guest policy to cost them $52,000. I tried to cancel my gym membership in January 2023, walked up to the front desk with my cancellation form filled out, everything completed correctly, every box checked, every line signed. I thought it would be simple. I thought it would be quick. I was very wrong. You need to submit this 30 days in advance, Derek, the manager said, without even looking up from his computer. His voice was monotone, bored, like he'd said these exact words 1,000 times before. Certified mail. Can I just hand it to you now? I asked, holding the form out in front of him. I'm here. You're here. This seems more efficient. He finally looked at me with an expression of mild irritation. Policy requires certified mail with tracking. There has to be an official record. Fine, I said, trying to keep my voice even. I'll send it certified mail. And I did. The next day, I went to the post office during my lunch break. I filled out the certified mail form, paid $8.47 for the privilege of sending a single sheet of paper to a building 2 miles away, and watched the postal clerk stamp it and scan it into their system. I got a receipt with a tracking number. I tucked it carefully into my wallet. 30 days later, on February 15th, I checked my bank account and saw another charge from the gym, $89. I stared at my phone, confused. I'd sent the cancellation form. I'd followed their exact rules. Why were they still charging me? I called the gym. A different person answered, not Derek. A young woman who sounded too cheerful for 7 a.m. Gold's Gym, Market Street. This is Jessica. How can I make your day awesome? I got charged this month, I said. I canceled my membership 30 days ago. I sent the form certified mail like I was told. I heard typing. Let's see. Your name? I told her. More typing. Oh yeah, I see your cancellation form here. It was denied. Denied? How can it be denied? You're in a 12-month contract. You have to fulfill the contract term before you can cancel. My stomach dropped. I've been a member for 18 months. My original 12-month contract ended 6 months ago. Yes, but you upgraded to premium in November. That started a new 12-month contract. The world felt like it tilted slightly. Nobody told me that. When I upgraded, nobody mentioned I'd be signing another year-long contract. It's in the membership agreement, sir. Section 14B. All membership upgrades initiate a new 12-month commitment period. I hung up and opened my email. I searched for the membership agreement I'd signed digitally when I joined. The PDF was 31 pages long. 31 pages of fine print, clauses, sub-clauses, exceptions to exceptions. I'd never read it fully. Who does? I'd just signed where they told me to sign. I found Section 14B on page 9. All membership upgrades or changes constitute a new membership agreement with a new 12-month commitment period beginning on the date of upgrade. There it was, in black and white, buried on page 9, in a paragraph so dense with legal jargon that my eyes nearly crossed reading it. I was trapped until November 2023. 10 more months. $890 more. I was furious, but what could I do? The contract was the contract. I'd signed it. I decided I'd just wait it out. 10 months. I could handle 10 months. I'd stop going to the gym, let them charge their $89 monthly fee, and in November I'd be free of this place forever. The months crawled by. Each $89 charge on my bank account felt like a paper cut. July, $89s. August, $89s. September, October, every month, $89 draining from my account for a service I wasn't using, didn't want, couldn't escape from. November finally came. On the first day of the month, I went back to the post office. I filled out another certified mail form, paid another $847, sent my cancellation form again, this time with an attached note. My 12-month contract from the November 2022 upgrade is now complete. I request immediate cancellation. I waited. On December 1st, I checked my bank account with anticipation. Surely this time it would work. Surely this time I'd be free. $89. Another charge. I called the gym immediately. My hands were shaking as I dialed. Derek answered this time. Why am I being charged? I demanded. I fulfilled my 12-month contract. I sent my cancellation certified mail in November. I did everything right. Sir, Derek said in that condescending tone I'd come to hate. You didn't cancel properly. I sent certified mail. Yes, but you used the gym twice in November. That indicates intent to continue membership. According to policy, any gym usage in the final contract month results in automatic renewal for another 12 months. I felt my blood turn to ice. Using the gym means I can't cancel. Policy states that members who actively use the facilities are presumed to want to continue service. It's a consumer protection, actually. Ensures we're not canceling someone's membership who still wants to use it. A consumer protection? My voice rose. I went twice in the entire month. Section 22F of your agreement, sir. You can verify it yourself. I hung up and opened that damn PDF again. Turned to page 19, Section 22F. Any use of gym facilities during the 30-day cancellation notice period will be considered as indication of members' intent to continue service and will result in automatic membership renewal under standard 12-month terms. It was there. It was really there. I'd gone to the gym twice in November because I felt guilty about paying $89 and not using it, and those 2 visits had just trapped me for another full year. Now I was stuck until December 2024. 13 more months. $1,157 or more. I tried everything I could think of. I called my bank and disputed the charge, filed a formal complaint. The bank investigated, reviewed the contract I'd signed, and ruled in favor of the gym. Valid contract, the letter said. Merchant has provided evidence of signed agreement. Dispute denied. I called a lawyer, explained the situation. He listened patiently, then sighed. Look, I can take your case. We can sue them, but it's going to cost probably $3,000 in legal fees plus court time plus stress, and honestly, the contract looks pretty airtight. These gyms hire real lawyers to draft these agreements specifically to be hard to break. My advice, just pay it and switch to a different gym after. I hung up feeling defeated. I was hemorrhaging $89 a month for a gym I couldn't escape from, didn't want to use, actively hated at this point. I felt trapped, powerless, manipulated by a system designed to take my money no matter what. And then, in March 2024, during a sleepless night when I couldn't sleep because I kept thinking about those damn $89 charges, I decided to read the entire contract. All 31 pages. Every section, every clause, every line of fine print. If they were going to use the contract against me, maybe there was something in it I could use against them. I read it for 3 hours. Most of it was exactly what you'd expect. Legal jargon about liability, about payments, about termination, about what they could and couldn't do. But then on page 23, I found something interesting. Section 18, Premium Guest Privileges. Premium members receive unlimited guest privileges. Members may bring any number of guests to utilize all gym facilities at no additional charge. Guests must register at the front desk with the host member present. There is no limit on the number of guests per visit or per membership period. I read that 3 times. Unlimited guests, any number. No additional charge, no limit. My brain started working. If they had to honor every word of that contract when it benefited them, then they had to honor every word when it benefited me. And this section gave me incredible power if I used it correctly. I got out of bed, opened my laptop, and posted an ad on Craigslist. Free gym access, Gold's Gym on Market Street, unlimited premium membership, I can bring guests. Message me if interested. I posted the ad at 2:30 a.m. By 9 a.m., I had 50 responses. People wanted free gym access, college students who couldn't afford memberships, seniors on fixed budgets, young professionals who didn't want the long-term commitment, athletes who just needed a place to train. They all responded. I replied to each person, meet me at Gold's Gym on Market Street Monday at 6 a.m. I'll sign you in as my guest, free. Then I posted on Facebook, community groups, local buy-sell boards, fitness groups. Want free gym access? I have unlimited guest passes for Gold's Gym. Message me. I got 200 more responses. I created a Google form to organize everything. Sign up for free gym access, collected names, emails, schedule availability. Within 2 days, I had over 300 interested people. Monday morning, I arrived at Gold's Gym at 5:45 a.m. There were 12 people waiting for me in the parking lot. Some looked skeptical, like they couldn't believe this was real. Others looked excited, bouncing on their feet, ready to work out. Okay, everyone, I said. We're going in together. I'm going to sign each of you in as my guest. It's completely legal under my membership contract. Section 18C, unlimited guests. We walked in as a group. I approached the front desk where a young employee named Ashley was having her morning coffee. Her eyes widened when she saw my crowd. Good morning, I said cheerfully. I'm here to register my guests. Your guests? She said, looking at the group behind me. Yes, I have a premium membership. Section 18C of the membership agreement gives me unlimited guest privileges. I'd like to register these 12 people. I started giving names. Ashley entered them into her computer, looking at me nervously after each one. Is this allowed? She asked after the 5th name. It's in the contract, I said. I can bring any number of guests. Is there a problem? She radioed Derek. He came out of his office looking annoyed at being bothered so early. When he saw the group, his expression hardened. What is this? He asked. These are my guests. I'm registering them under Section 18C of the premium guest policy. You can't bring this many people. I pulled out a printed copy of page 23 of the membership agreement. I'd highlighted it for this exact occasion. I quote, members may bring any number of guests to utilize all gym facilities at no additional charge. There is no limit on the number of guests per visit. His jaw tensed. I could see the conflict on his face. He wanted to deny me, but the contract was clear. Fine, he said finally. But if they cause any problems, everyone leaves. There won't be problems, I said. They're just here to work out. And they did. My 12 guests dispersed throughout the gym. Some went to the treadmills, others to the free weights, others to the machines. The gym, normally half empty at 6 a.m., was suddenly noticeably busier. Tuesday, I brought 15 guests. Wednesday, 20. Thursday, 25. By Friday, I had 40 people meeting me in the parking lot every morning at 6 a.m. We'd walk in together like a small army. I'd sign each person in at the front desk, one by one, while Derek watched with mounting frustration. The gym was starting to look different. The rows of treadmills that used to have 3 or 4 people now had people waiting. The free weights, once abundantly constantly available, now required waiting your turn. The locker room, usually empty, now had to be cleaned twice as frequently due to increased traffic. And I didn't stop there. I kept recruiting, posted more ads, spread the word, tell your friends, free gym access, no commitment, no fees, just show up. By week 2, I was bringing 50 people a day. By week 3, 60. By week 4, 80 people were meeting me at different times throughout the day. I created a spreadsheet to manage it all. Morning crew 6 to 7 a.m., lunch crew 12 to 1 p.m., evening crew 5 to 6 p.m., weekend warriors on Saturdays and Sundays. I scheduled people at different time slots to maximize coverage. Every hour the gym was open, I was bringing guests. The gym became absolute chaos. Equipment wait times went from 5 minutes to 45 minutes. People reserving treadmills with towels. Arguments about who'd been waiting longer for the bench press. Locker rooms overflowing with people. People changing in hallways because all the lockers were taken. The parking lot became impossible. The gym had maybe 60 parking spaces. With my steady stream of guests plus regular members, the lot was completely full by 6:15 a.m. and stayed full until 9 p.m. People were parking on nearby streets, walking 2 blocks to get to the gym. Derek pulled me aside after 2 weeks of this. His face was red, a vein visibly throbbing in his temple. "You have to stop bringing so many people," he said, trying and failing to keep his voice calm. "Why?" I asked innocently. "I'm following policy. Section 18C says unlimited guests. It's disruptive. The other members are complaining. Is there a limit specified in the contract on how many guests I can bring?" His jaw clenched so tight I thought he might break a tooth. "No. Then I'm following policy, word for word, the same way you followed policy word for word when you trapped me in multiple automatic renewals." He said nothing. What could he say? I was doing exactly what they did, using the contract in a technically legal but morally questionable way for my own benefit. I kept bringing people. In fact, I escalated. I started reaching out to community organizations, at-risk youth programs that needed activities, senior centers whose members wanted exercise but couldn't afford gym memberships, veterans groups looking for fitness options. I told them all I could give them free access. A senior center sent 30 members on a Thursday morning. A youth group sent 25 teenagers on a Saturday afternoon. A veterans group started coming every Tuesday and Thursday evening, 20 strong guys who needed a place to train. By mid-April, I was bringing an average of 80-90 people per day, every single day. The gym was an absolute nightmare for any paying member. They simply couldn't work out. Everything was constantly in use. The spin class had a wait list of 30 people. Yoga classes were so packed, people were doing poses in the hallways. The personal trainer had to cancel sessions because there was no space to work with clients. Members started complaining, first to the staff, then to Derek, then to corporate. The Yelp reviews started changing. "Used to love this gym, but now it's so crowded I can't use anything. 1 star. Canceled my membership after 5 years. Impossible to work out here. Too many people." And then they started canceling. The real paying members started leaving the gym. In May, I called City Hall. "Hi, I'd like to request public records for Gold's Gym on Market Street's business license. Specifically, their reported membership numbers. Gyms have to report membership numbers to the city as part of their business license. Something about occupancy standards and fire safety regulations. They're public records, available to anyone who requests them." I got the records a week later. In March, Gold's Gym on Market Street had 1,247 members. In April, they had 1,205 members. In May, they had 907 members. They lost 340 members in 2 months. Each lost member was $89 a month. That was $30,260 per month in lost revenue. Just from April to May, they'd lost $60,520. And it continued. June came. I kept bringing people, kept signing in guests, kept flooding the gym with free users while paying members fled in droves. Derek called me into his office in early July. He looked terrible, like he hadn't slept in days. There were dark circles under his eyes. His desk was covered in papers, spreadsheets, what looked like loss reports. "We need to discuss your membership," he said, his voice tired. "What about it?" I asked, sitting down comfortably. "We're willing to cancel your contract effective immediately. Full refund for the last 6 months." My heart was pounding. I'd been waiting for this moment. "Why would you do that?" "As a gesture of goodwill," he said, but the words sounded hollow. "What if I don't want to cancel? What if I like my membership? After all, I have unlimited guests. That's a great perk." His face went gray. "Please, you're killing our business." "How much has this cost you?" I asked, genuinely curious. He looked at the papers on his desk, then at me. I saw defeat in his eyes. "We've lost 587 members since March. Most cited overcrowding as the reason." I did the math in my head. 587 members times $89 a month times 4 months. That's $209,130 in lost revenue. "Yes," he said quietly. I pretended to think about it, letting him sit there in the uncomfortable silence. Actually, I already knew exactly what I wanted. I want 2 years of refunds. Since January 2023, when I first tried to cancel, that's $2,136. And I want a written apology for your cancellation policy, admitting it's designed to trap people in memberships they don't want. That's extortion," he said, but without conviction. "No, I said quietly. That's using your own contract exactly as it was written, the same way you used it against me, multiple times. He signed the papers that afternoon, cut the check from his business checkbook, 12,136 hours, made out to my name, wrote a letter on gym letterhead admitting their cancellation policy had been overly restrictive, and they were reevaluating their membership termination procedures to be more customer-friendly. They also added a new section to their membership agreement, which I saw when I checked their website later that month. Premium guest privileges are limited to 5 guests per visit, 10 guest visits per month. I framed Section 18C from the original contract, the one that said unlimited guest privileges with no qualifications, no restrictions. I hung it in my home gym, the one I was able to buy with the refund money plus what I saved by not paying memberships for the next few years. Every time I look at it, it reminds me of a simple lesson. If someone's going to use every technicality of a contract to keep you trapped, you can use every technicality of that same contract to free yourself. You just have to be patient enough, meticulous enough, and creative enough to find your leverage. Derek thought he had me trapped. He thought the contract was a foolproof system to take my money month after month. He was right about the system being effective, just wrong about who would ultimately use it. Turned out unlimited guests really meant unlimited. And when you take it literally, when you bring 80, 90 people each day for months, when you turn a gym into a crowded circus that bleeds paying members like a sinking ship, then suddenly the gym becomes very motivated to let you go. It cost them $209,132 in lost revenue to get my $2,136 back. Mathematically inefficient for them. Mathematically satisfying for me. Sometimes the best revenge isn't breaking the rules. It's following them perfectly, relentlessly, until the person who made the rules begs you to stop. 6 months after I left Gold's Gym, I received a message on LinkedIn. It was from Derek. The message was brief, almost awkward in its formality. Hi, hope this message finds you well. I'd like to talk to you about an opportunity. Do you have time for coffee? I almost deleted it, almost blocked his profile. But curiosity won. I replied, sure, coffee Tuesday at 3 p.m. Your choice of place. We met at a coffee shop halfway between my apartment and where the gym used to be. Derek arrived early, already seated at a corner table when I walked in. He looked different, thinner, more tired. The lines around his eyes seemed deeper. Thanks for coming, he said as I sat down. I know I'm probably the last person you want to talk to. I'm curious, I admitted. What happened after I left? He sighed, stirring his coffee. We lost another 200 members in August and September. Corporate stepped in, did a full audit, found that our membership numbers had dropped 52% in 6 months. That had never happened at any Gold's Gym location in the entire country. Did they fire you? Almost. Put me on performance review. I had to submit a recovery plan. Part of that plan included completely rewriting the membership agreement, removing all predatory policies, making cancellation actually simple, no hidden auto renewals, no technicalities about usage during the cancellation period. Sounds like an improvement, I said. It is. New members actually read the contract now. It's only 5 pages, plain language, no fine print buried on page 19. He paused. Corporate asked me to reach out to you. They want to hire you as a consultant. I almost choked on my coffee. What? They want you to review the membership agreements for all their locations nationwide. 247 gyms. They'd pay you $150 an hour plus travel expenses. Probably 6 months of work. I did the quick math. At 40 hours a week for 6 months, that would be around $156,000. Why me? Because you found every loophole, every problem, every predatory clause we thought no one would ever notice. And instead of just complaining or hiring a lawyer, you actually used the contract against us. Corporate said, and I quote, if he was smart enough to exploit the system, he's smart enough to fix it. I looked at Derek for a long moment. This man who'd looked down on me, who'd dismissed my complaints, who'd quoted contract clauses with a smile while taking my money month after month. And what do you think about it? I think you taught me a lesson, he said quietly. I was so focused on hitting metrics, on keeping retention rates high, that I forgot we were dealing with real people. People who just wanted to cancel a gym membership, and we created this labyrinth system that basically trapped them. He looked up. I'm sorry for everything. The apology caught me off guard. Did corporate tell you to say that? No, this is me, personally. What I did was wrong. The way I enforced those policies was wrong. You deserve to be able to cancel when you wanted to cancel. I took a sip of my coffee, processing this. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll review one membership agreement. One location. Free. If I like the work and they're really committed to change, then we'll talk about a consulting contract. I spent the next 2 weeks reviewing Gold's Gym Market Street's membership agreement. Derek was right. They'd reduced it to 5 pages, but there were still problems. Clauses that were technically legal but morally dubious. Language that could be interpreted multiple ways. Policies that favored the gym over the member. I rewrote everything. Created a 12-page document, but every page was written in plain language. No legal jargon, no hidden clauses. Every policy written clearly with examples. Cancellation. Members may cancel at any time by emailing cancellationsgoldsgym.com or visiting the front desk in person. Cancellation is effective at the end of the current billing period. Example, if you cancel cancel on March 15th and your billing cycle ends March 28th, your last charge will be March 1st, and your access will end March 28th. I sent it to corporate. 3 days later, I got a call from the VP of Operations. This is exactly what we need, he said. Simple, clear, honest. When can you start? I negotiated. Not $150 an hour, $200 an hour, with a bonus if I reduced customer complaints by more than 30% in the first year. I also included a clause that any gym that didn't implement the new policies within 90 days would lose their franchise license. They signed. I spent the next 8 months traveling the country, visited every Gold's Gym location, talked to managers, front desk staff, current members, former members who'd canceled, heard hundreds of stories about frustrating cancellation policies, unexpected charges, feeling trapped. I rewrote everything, not just the membership agreements, but the entire process. Created a system where canceling was as easy as joining. Built a database where members could see every charge, every renewal, every policy change. Added automatic notifications 30 days before any renewal. Your membership will renew on May 1st. If you wish to cancel, click here. Customer complaints dropped 67% in the first year. Membership renewals increased 23% because people actually trusted the gym now. Yelp ratings went from 2.3 stars to 4.1 stars average across all locations. And Gold's Gym Market Street, the location that had lost 587 members due to my unlimited guest campaign, regained 412 of those members within 14 months. Derek was promoted to regional manager, but the most satisfying part came 2 years later. I was at a fitness industry conference speaking about transparency in membership contracts. After my presentation, a man approached me. He was wearing a competitor gym's shirt. "Hey," he said, "just wanted to say thanks. My gym revised their entire membership agreement after Gold's changed theirs. They didn't want to look bad by comparison. Now the whole industry is changing, all because of what you did at that gym in Nashville." "It wasn't just me," I said. "It was the whole system being so bad that eventually someone had to break it." "Well, you were the one who broke it in the most spectacular way possible." That night, back in my hotel, I Googled news articles about gym membership policies. They'd changed. They'd really changed. Multiple states had passed laws requiring simple cancellations. The Federal Trade Commission had released new guidelines. Gyms across the country were advertising their hassle-free cancellation policies as a selling point. The entire industry had changed because one gym pushed too hard on the wrong person. Because I'd read every word of that 31-page contract at 2 a.m. on a sleepless night. Because I'd found Section 18C and had the courage to use it exactly as it was written. My phone buzzed. A text from Derek. "Just read your article in Fitness Business Journal. Well done. Genuinely proud to have been part of your origin story, even if I was the villain." I smiled and replied, "Every hero needs a villain. Thanks for being so memorable in the role." 3 years after the day I brought my first 12 guests to Gold's Gym Market Street, I launched my own consulting company. Clear Contracts, I called it. We specialized in taking complex membership and subscription agreements and rewriting them in simple, honest language. Our first client was a boutique gym in Portland. Our 10th client was Planet Fitness. Our 20th was Equinox. By year 2, we'd worked with 47 gyms, 12 yoga studios, 8 streaming services, and 3 software companies that wanted to make their cancellation policies less horrible. I hired a team of 5 people. They all had stories similar to mine. People who'd been trapped by predatory contracts and found creative ways to free themselves. A lawyer who'd successfully sued his cable company. An accountant who'd found a mathematical error in her gym's late fee policy. A software developer who'd built a bot that automatically disputed incorrect charges. We called ourselves the Contract Revenge Squad. Not officially, of course, but among ourselves, that's how we referred to ourselves. And in every office, hanging in a prominent place where clients could see it, was the framed Section 18C from the original Gold's Gym agreement. Premium members receive unlimited guest privileges. Members may bring any number of guests to utilize all gym facilities at no additional charge. A reminder that sometimes the best way to change an unfair system isn't to protest against it. It's to follow its rules so perfectly, so ruthlessly, so literally that the system breaks under the weight of its own absurdity. Derek was right about one thing. I had exploited the system, but in doing so, I'd exposed exactly why that system needed to change. And when people saw how broken it really was, when they saw a gym bleed hundreds of thousands of dollars because a single member used a policy exactly as it was written, they realized that maybe all those complicated policies weren't so smart after all. Today, if you walk into any Gold's Gym in America and ask to see the membership agreement, They'll give you a 5-page document written in plain language. You can cancel anytime with an email. No hidden auto-renewals. No clauses that trap you if you use the gym during your cancellation period. And somewhere in Gold's Gym corporate files, there's a note. Guest policy. Maximum 5 guests per visit. 10 visits per month. Historical note. Never again unlimited without qualifications. See Market Street Case 2023. That's my masterpiece. Not the millions my consulting company generated. Not the awards we won for contract transparency. Not the articles I wrote or the talks I gave. My masterpiece is that little note in Gold's Gym corporate files. Those 3 words. See Market Street Case. A permanent reminder that when you push people far enough, when you make your contracts complicated enough, when you bet that no one will actually read all 31 pages, eventually you'll push the wrong person. Eventually you'll push someone who won't just read every word, but will find the one clause they can use to bring down your entire carefully constructed system. And when that happens, you better hope it only costs you 209th 132ers, because it could cost you a lot more. I framed that 2,136 check too. Never cashed it. Hung it next to Section 18C in my office. A reminder that sometimes winning isn't about the money. It's about the principle. It's about proving a point. It's about taking a system that's designed to take advantage of people and using it so perfectly against itself that it has no choice but to change. Derek sends me a Christmas card every year. It always includes an update about Gold's Gym Market Street, how many members they have now, what their average review rating is, how many people canceled that year. Always a low number because canceling is easy now. And it always ends with the same line. Thanks for teaching me that policies are for people, not the other way around. This year, the card included something else. A photo of the front desk at Gold's Gym Market Street. They'd framed something and hung it on the wall behind the counter where all members could see it. It was Section 18C, the original. The unlimited guest clause that no longer exists in any Gold's Gym membership agreement. And underneath, a small plaque that said, "In memory of the most exploited policy in Gold's Gym history, 2023. Never forgotten, never repeated." I laughed so hard when I saw that I almost spit out my coffee. Derek had a sense of humor, after all. A very, very expensive sense of humor, but a sense of humor nonetheless. I replied to his card with one of my own. Sometimes the best lessons cost 209,132s. Consider it an investment in education. Happy holidays. And that's how one man with a gym membership he couldn't cancel changed an entire industry. Not with lawsuits, not with protests, not with complaints to regulatory bodies, just with patience, creativity, and a willingness to take the rules to their most absurd logical conclusion. Sometimes the best revenge isn't breaking the rules. It's following them so perfectly that everyone can finally see how broken they are.